Hello, if I don't know if anyone is out there or not, I'm John and I'm from J&N Travels, and this is an unscheduled live to test out our internet. We were supposed to go live on Wednesday, 2 days ago at 2 p.m., and the internet went down at noon. Just came up, I went to a dentist appointment, came home, my mouth is all novocated, so I may be muddling a little bit here. But I noticed the internet was back up again, so I did want to test it out and see if it was working. We're hoping to do a live to make up for the Wednesday one on Saturday afternoon, if I can find a time that doesn't conflict with others, and then our normal live on Sunday at 5 o'clock. Oh, I just noticed. Hello, Sherry. Sherry, in fact, you're the perfect one. I was going to send you a message when I get off the air to find out when your live was on Saturday. So I don't want to conflict with it. I know you were at 3 and then you went to 2, I think, and I don't know if you're running this Saturday or not. So if you could let me know that, that would save me a message. And I am working. Okay. So you're not going to go live on Saturday after all? Is that what? Let me see. I'm going to test everything out here. Okay, so Sherry's working right now. It's funny, Sherry, I had just finished your live on Wednesday. It was noontime, so I know it was working then. And I went to set up for our live at 2 p.m. and the internet went down. And it's been down for 2 days. Just got back from the dentist and found it's up again. So I'm trying to test it out here just to make sure it works. So if you have a chance, Sherry, you can just tell me if you're going live on Saturday and what time that is. Let's see. I'm going to try out a few things here. Okay, that's working. That's working. Anyone else out there like to pop in and say hello? This is such a last minute thing. I walked through the door, noticed the internet was up, heated a cup of tea, and then jumped on. It looks to me like everything is working. So I got on a bunch of different Facebook pages. I got on some Marco Polo sites and announced a thing on Wednesday, and then we went dead. So I'm just going to leave this running for a little bit here, make sure things are working. If anyone drops on, that's great. Sherry, if you have a chance, just want to find out if you're doing any kind of lives on Saturday at all. Let's see. Okay, check that out. So I guess we're all counting down the days till the possible lifting of the cruise sanctions. That's supposed to happen, I think, on Saturday. But if they wait till like they did last time, probably go right up till midnight on Saturday. Interesting Halloween, won't it be? Our town called off, from what I understand, called off Halloween. So, and I imagine a lot of other towns out there are. Okay, there's a little bit of the light. And let's just run for a minute. I'm gonna go check out the lighting. See if that works. Funny. Okay. All right. Get rid of that. If anyone is out there, I would like their opinion on the quality of this picture. A little bit of a glare. I'm trying to realign stuff. Let's see, it's a little glare there, so you gotta put straight on. Ah. Let's see if this does anything. No. Let's see. All right. All right. Well, let's see. It's funny. Okay, 432. Okay, I don't know. I can still get that glare, but it's probably because it's on it's plastic type of plexiglass type of board. Don't want that down. Maybe I could have a little smiley here do a dance for you. Oh, that's funny. Acts as a green screen. Huh. All right, what I'm doing, I notice there's a couple other people on there. If someone wants to come up and talk to me and give me a message, I'm trying to test out, see if this is working. We've been down for 2 days. The internet crashed. It looks like it's finally up again. So we lost our live show on Wednesday completely. Moved that to, I think we're going to try and run that on, Saturday afternoon. And we'll have our regular show at 5 o'clock on Sunday. So Saturday afternoon, I'm hoping to do it early in the day, but I want to make sure I'm not conflicting with anyone before I throw out any times. If anyone could let me know, is the picture clear? Is the sound clear? Like I said, I just got Novocaine in my mouth, so my mouth might be muffled. Let's see. Try that. Let's see if we go to that. Okay. Try out the banners. Let's see. Okay, so the banners are working. Well, maybe you guys could fill me in a little bit on the news, what's going on out there. Like I said, I've gone 2 days without it. The funny thing is, I guess I might as well read it out there anyways. Wednesday I had news that was less than 24 hours old, which is now going to be, 2 days old? Maybe some of this stuff is pertinent, but instead of hearing me just babble, I might as well go through some of the news items that I come up with. And if anyone is out there and wants to interject, that's great. If not, you see it in playback, you want to make a comment on it, that's great too. Okay, so let's go through this. At least that will give me some time to talk to you guys. Oops. First news item on my list was Princess Cruises extends suspension in Australia through May of 2021. Okay, and with the ongoing restrictions, Carnival-owned Princess Cruises has decided to extend its pause on operations in Australia through the end of May 2021. So that's another shutdown type of thing for these cruise lines. When will it end is the question. I almost feel no game we're not. Second news item that I would have read to you on Wednesday is financial analysts think no cruises until March. Now, this is a very interesting one, and this is not based on the the heads of the cruise industry. This is based on the financial analysts. According to a paper published by analyst Paul Golding and Charles Yu and reported by Barron's, it is unlikely that cruising would resume next month as cruise lines claim. The company, which has significant financial standing in the maritime industry, bases its conclusion on the fluid political situation in the U.S. and the increasing levels of virus infections in the U.S. and Europe. So, of course, that's an interesting, different angle to this, but it's what most of us have been saying anyways. Third news item, Mexican Caribbean resumes tourist activities after Hurricane Zeta. Now this was yesterday, but now today we're on Thursday. I think this was Monday. You guys got hit by the hurricane. So at approximately 11 p.m., Hurricane Zeta made landfall in Mexico. The hurricane was a Category 1 and then downgraded to a tropical storm. The tourists were not required to leave their hotels, and state airports were optional. The state's labor activity and tourist services are now back to normal. And listening to a bunch of the people that were down in Cancun, it sounds like they were told to stay in their rooms through, I think it was 8 a.m. the next morning, and then they resumed. And by the look of it, they resumed their partying and have been enjoying the break. Okay, so Sherry says she's taking a break. Okay. Okay, so let's see. So that was the hurricane, and I was hoping on Wednesday I was hoping someone would come up and give me an update on that. And Ronnie had left me a message that he was trying to come up, but guess what? There was no internet, so he didn't come up. Looks good. Okay. Sherry, a question here, and sounds good. Excellent. Thanks. You said you're taking a break. I'm just curious on Saturday. Are you going live at all on Saturday, this coming Saturday? And if so, what time? Okay, the next news item that was going to be read to you on Wednesday. Harvard study shows that air travel presents a lower risk than shopping and dining out. Now, this surprised me, but supposedly a new gate-to-gate study by scientists from Harvard's School of Public Health is the most comprehensive research to date to conclude that the layered approach to U.S. airlines, including Delta, have taken to protect customers and employees from the virus means the risk of exposure during air travel is very low. To date, the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention have not confirmed a single case of the virus transmission on a U.S. airplane. The Harvard study shows air travel presents lower virus risk than shopping and dining out. So that really took me by surprise. But I guess overall, the airline injuries are doing their part to keep this from people. So that's very encouraging because, as we know, if the cruise lines open up and islands all open up, we're going to have to get there by airplanes, right? So that's a good sign. Okay, so Sherry's not doing it live this Saturday, so I will make that official now. I did not want to conflict if you were going on. But we're going to make up our Wednesday live that we didn't do, and we're going to do it at 2 o'clock on Saturday. So we'll do it. By then, it will give us a chance to get our costumes out of the laundry, and we'll have more updated news on Saturday than I'm giving you right now. And then Sunday, we'll have our normal 5 p.m. live. So just want to pass it on for anyone who may hear this message. Okay, now let's go to the next. So far we found out that the financial analysts don't think cruise is coming back until March, and that Mexico has recovered, and Harvard is showing studies that airplanes are much safer to fly in than people think they are. Okay, next one, a Walt Disney World one. Walt Disney World Resorts continues preparation for its 50th anniversary in 2021. I did not realize that was 50 years. Lots of renovations and other items are planned for the 50th. Now, there was a list here, and I was going to read this, but but I guess Disney World has all sorts of stuff. They had many attractions that were supposed to open up that are being delayed. The Tron one and the Guardians of the Galaxy, and a lot of those are being delayed, but there's still a lot of things opening up. Hey, Tyler. Thanks for popping in. What I'm doing here, Tyler, is our internet was down for the last 2 days. We lost our live on. I was able to watch the end of Sherry's live, and then it crashed, and it's been out since about an hour ago. So I'm testing this out to try and run like a short live, maybe for a half hour, and just to make sure everything does stay up and works. And we're going to make up the Wednesday one on Saturday at 2, and then we have a normal one on Sunday at 5. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering. I actually had my daughter. I got a hold of her at the end of the day, and I had her put something up on our Facebook page because there's no other way. I had nothing. Everything was dead. I couldn't access my smartphone, and that's what happened to us. And it's too bad because I had a couple people that had texted. Well, not texted me. How did they get a hold of me? That they were going to come up during that too. So that would have been nice. Let's see. Oh, okay. MGM, welcome. Bill and or Lucy, whoever is there. Like I said, I'm just trying to test this out for a half hour. I'm actually reading my news items that I was going to read on Wednesday, which at that time were less than 24 hours old, and at this time are more than 24 hours old. But I think it's a good way to test this out. Let's see. I've no live. Just fixed my Wi-Fi, so it should be good for my live shows now. Yeah, you were in a weird area, Tyler. I remember that. I mean, you start out, but then it would go in and out. It reminded me of my Wi-Fi. It's just not reliable. And you're in Florida. I imagine you're in a very internet-friendly area, so that was a surprise to me. Now, if anyone is bored and you would like to come up and just chit chat, let me know. I'll throw the link out there. If not, I'm just going to read through these and talk to you in the chat until I get a little bit of testing time in here. Okay, so we just covered that and that. CDC still advises against all cruise travel worldwide. Yeah, that was a big. Well, they call it a big announcement. It's been out there. The CDC actually does not want any cruising anywhere. They're totally against it. This thing's all going to come to a head on, well, it won't come on ahead on the election, but that's going to determine everything, who is in office after the election. So if you want to vote one way or the other, go out and vote. Virgin Voyages canceled December sailings. It seems like this cruise line is never getting off the ground. They still have not done, well, I guess they did some kind of a test sailing. I don't know if it's actually an inaugural sailing, but there was some kind of a sailing over in Europe, I think, to test it out, or the UK, somewhere over there. And but they haven't run in the US yet, and now they have postponed it again. So I'll read this one. Virgin Voyages has canceled December cruises of the new Scarlet Lady. The company website now shows a January 3rd departure as a first voyage. Right now, we are working closely with the industry and the CDC on the right time to start sailing again. And at this time, we'll make a decision if they should cancel our December sailings, the company said. That makes sense. Well, this, and the big thing is are they starting a domino effect? If they're canceling the December ones, is this now going to leave domino effect to the other cruise lines? We'll have to wait and see. Okay, so let's see. I've got a few people poking in here. Just in case anyone poked in, we had a live Wednesday. I just had finished watching Sherry's live at noon. Our internet conked out. But we have not had it till about 2 hours ago. I just got back from a dentist's office. My Novocaine's starting to wear off, and I wanted to test it out. So we're going to make up the live on Wednesday, and we're going to do one at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Halloween Day, Saturday. And Sunday we have our normal one at 5 o'clock. Now, let's see. Oh, we had Johnny's Journey pop in. Yeah, that's right. She likes the shirt. This was a shirt I won from Johnny's Journey. Let's get toasted. We also have a mug, but I think my wife used that this morning and it's in the sink right now. Let's see. Johnny, this was originally supposed to be a Halloween costume, but I mean, not this shirt, but I was supposed to have a Halloween costume on. But our Halloween costumes are coming out of the laundry, and hopefully they'll be back for Saturday. Okay, Tyler, hi, John, Renella. I think when this came out. Okay. Let's see. And Vandereller and Johnny's Journey both have great websites too. And I call them the RV community, which the cruise community and the Disney community seem to be melding a lot more together, which is great. Okay. All right, let me just finish reading some of these. If these interest you, like I said, some of these were less than 24 hours old when I put them together, and then now probably 3 days old. Well, here's happy news. At Disney Animal Kingdom welcomes a new baby white rhino. So Disney Animal Kingdom theme park welcomes its newest member, 150-pound baby white rhino. The calf's mother, Kendi, was actually at the park. Well, she was, okay. The calf's mother, Kendi, was the first baby ever born rhino at the park. So there's been a total of 11 white rhinos born at Animal Kingdom since 1999. Well, that's good news for a change. I'm giving you something good. Okay. And Disney World, I don't know if you're all, now originally on Wednesday I had pictures to pop up here, but I can't even find them now. So, but the old arches, you remember the old arches going to Disney World? They had Mickey and Minnie on the sides and the arch going over the top. Those are all being taken down. They're being replaced with a lot more bland arches. And the reason for that, what did it say? They want to echo the paint job at the Cinderella's castle. I don't understand it, but that's what they're doing. I feel like I recently saw you in a long wig. No, I didn't have a wig on. I did have a bridal veil on one of our videos, but not a wig. We're picking up our daughter. Well, that's great. Stay as long as you can. Like I said, it's kind of a test. Now, Tyler, let me see. Let me read a couple more of these things, and then if anyone wants to come up and just chit chat, I think Tyler had mentioned it. I'll put the link out there. Okay, let me just go through these. Like I said, these are older now, but at least they're interesting. Knott's Berry Farm has announced the next major food event called Knott's Taste of Merry Farm. This will run on select days from November 20th to January 3rd, 2021. And based on how fast the Scary Farm theme date sold out, you will really need to grab tickets soon as possible. As before, no rides, and that's because of the governor over there. Yeah, that's a big thing. He won't let Knott's Berry Farm, Disneyland, what's the other one? Oh, Universal open up any rides. So Disney has expanded their downtown Disney to allow people to go at least down there. I think Universal did the same with their areas with stores and restaurants. And Knott's Berry Farm has done a nice job. I guess what they do is they theme the whole park and have a deal where you buy a booklet of tickets and get certain foods and stuff like that. So it sounds like at least these places are answering the call somehow. I don't know how long they can do without that. Next one is Snowy Slopes and Igloos. Florida's Snowcat Ridge begins a preseason ticket sale. This is an attraction we did a video on in our travel news thing probably several months ago. It might even been 6 months ago. They have this park in Florida that they're going to have tubing. They're putting snow on it. They have an area at the bottom where the kids can build snowmen and snow forts, and it's going to be a nice little area for people in Florida that are sick of seeing the sunshine and want to see a little snow. Let's see. It's if you're wondering where it is, it's located in Dade County, which is about 35 minutes north of Tampa. It's going to have a 60-foot snowy slope and 10,000 square foot igloo where families can build snowmen and snow castles. Pretty good. The igloo, and it will have a bunny slope for little kids. Tickets for it are $25, and there is a discount out there if you type in snow 10, save 10%. So, any of you in Florida, Tyler, maybe you're getting too hot with all the sun and you want something cold. Let's see. Another park offering great deals is Legoland, Florida. That's where our friend Dave Fisher works. It's announced big savings events 2021 to mark their 10th birthday. I remember going to Legoland before it was Legoland. It was actually it wasn't as far back as Cypress Gardens. Or was it Cypress Gardens when we went? I don't know, but they changed the Cypress Gardens, which is basically just trees and stuff like that, to a bunch of rides. And we thought it was a great time there, but they went out of business or it was bought out by Legoland. I haven't been to Legoland. If anyone's been there and you want to comment, if it's worth a visit or not. Is it just for kids? Haunted parks. If you were into scary and haunted things, many of the theme parks are offering haunted houses. One good thing is that a lot of the parks, I think Busch Gardens, SeaWorld, parks up in my area are actually opening up and running Halloween nights. So they're at least getting some money back from that. I'm sure there's a lot of social distancing and a lot of other things going on. So I'm going to put in here a link. And if anyone wants to just come up and chit chat a little bit and tell me, let's see. Okay, so that's the link. And you come up, you can talk about your channel. I would like to get to know you also. All right, so while that's sitting there, let's see. Okay, in the news most people are interested in is a CDC order to be lifted by the end of the month. October 31st, which I think is Saturday. Hey, Hughes Studios, welcome. I hope I pronounced it right. I don't have my wife sitting here with me. By the way, she's working. Like, just to tell anyone that came in late, I just got back from the dentist. Internets were down for 2 days, and I decided to test it out because we have a live at 2 o'clock on Saturday, and then we have another live at 5 o'clock on Sunday. That's a Reader's Digest version of why I'm sitting here and why we didn't go live on Wednesday. Okay. Looks like we have. Okay, we appreciate that, Johnny. It looks like I got Tyler waiting in the cuffs. So let's see how I do this. Right? Make sure I do this right.
Hey.
Oh, wow, that was quick and that's clear. How you doing, Tyler?
Doing well. How about yourself, John?
Very good. It's the first time we've met face to face, if you want to call it that.
I guess we can call it that. I guess we could.
Now, which part of Florida are you from? I know you don't want to narrow it down to the specific town, but are you central
Florida
northern,
or the
southern?
Orlando area?
Oh, so you get all the fun stuff, don't you?
Central Florida, the Orlando area.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Now, if you want to talk a little bit about, well, first of all, give a little plug to your channel, and then why don't you tell me about Florida, because we're interested in going to Florida with Larry. So go right ahead.
Alrighty, so I'm Tyler. I'm here from the Tyler Show. People call me the cruise junkie because I simply know a lot about cruise ships. Also, well, we aren't sailing with cruise ships, of course, right now. So we're doing the theme parks here in Florida. So definitely stay tuned. I have a new video coming out the theme parks in the following weeks. Matter of fact, before this live stream, of course, I was editing one of my videos for the theme park Universal Orlando. So check that out if you want to, guys. Would please. Also, we have a live stream, of course, coming up on Friday. And I guess would please hit that subscribe button, and greatly would appreciate it as it helps grow my channel. I am again aiming for 500 subscribers, and I appreciate all the support. And it's me plugging my channel.
Well, you've actually been steadily climbing, since you got involved with these lives and with basically all of us. We've kind of been, hopefully helping each other out. Plugging each other, and you've climbed up quite a bit.
I have, sure thing. That earlier this year, I believe I was at 135, and now I'm at 450. So I did grow definitely a lot.
Now, were you trying to get that 500 sub by the end of the year?
Yes. Before this whole COVID thing, I was trying to get to at least 1,000, but then cruising stopped and we couldn't get to 1,000 here at the channel, which was sad. But hey, hoping next year for 1,000.
Well, that's what's tough. We get on and we see each other and we watch each other's shows, and it looks like things are going great out there. But outside of us, the cruise community, there aren't a lot of people doing searches for cruises right now.
Yeah. Definitely. I know my views been going down, but luckily nowadays they're starting to go back up with the views. But I didn't during the middle, like the beginning of the pandemic, the views were terrible. You would get like 10 views on a cruise video compared to a video where you would used to get 100 views on a video that you would release. So yeah, the views definitely been going down.
See, it seems like whenever there's just a little ray of sunshine on the cruise lines and anticipation's there, people start looking again and searching.
Yeah.
And then as soon as something like, I'm just hoping, what's 2 days from now, Saturday, is going to be a big day.
I personally been thinking it's going to be on a Friday because it's a government agency, so I don't think they work on Saturdays. I'm not sure, so I think it's going to be Friday night, midnight, maybe. But people have been saying it's probably going to lift it because if you just looked at like the CDC updated their website says you shouldn't go on a cruise ship. They're saying you shouldn't go on one, but they're not forcing them not to sail anymore. So that's where I'm thinking that they're possibly going to lift it at the end of this weekend, but. Same time, who knows what? Last time we thought they were going to cancel it, and they extended it onto like last night. So I mean, we don't know.
Well, I agree with you that I think the CDC is going to let it lift because now they can blame the vice president and they can blame the cruise lines, and the onus is off their back.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling down deep that the cruise lines are not going to sail till they're sure that, well, let's just say it switches to a different regime in office, right? Which is more pro-scientists, they're probably going to be leery getting everything going and then having to shut down again.
I'm definitely seeing that. I see like the bigger cruise lines, Disney and stuff, they're going to be lenient on reselling. However, I personally see the smaller cruise lines, Bahama Paradise, they're going to be ready to restart because they need that money coming in. However, Royal Caribbean, they can afford to theoretically have no ships from the U.S. for a time being. Long term, they can't have ships, of course, U.S. long being if they have that, especially Royal Caribbean. They announced $1 billion in lost revenue just for the third quarter, which is mind-boggling. But at the same time, though, you look at it, and if they don't start sailing, even if it's 2 ships from anywhere, from Singapore, Asia, or anywhere, if they don't start sailing and they aren't allowed to sail anytime soon, the local economies, Port Canaveral, Miami, they're going to be basically out of business with the cruise industry. Like a lot of people will be out of jobs and stuff. So they need to definitely slowly restart cruising. It does need to be a fast, high-speed pace, but that's just my thoughts on them restarting. If they don't restart soon, a lot of people will be out of jobs and business.
Yeah, if they're given the go-ahead, at least in the 3 cruise lines, hopefully are talking. The 3 of them should each put out at least a ship or 2 because that first ship out is a guinea pig. You do not want to be that cruise line that screws it up because of something that happens and ruins it for the whole cruise industry.
Yeah. The part is, I was watching a video from Jay from the Ship Life today, and he brought it up. There was a outbreak on a river cruise ship out of Switzerland. But the funny part was they I don't get why they didn't copy Costa, TUI, MSC's restart. They basically, you wore your mask onto the ship, you got onto the ship, you didn't have to wear it, and that problem was in the part. They didn't test you before you even got on the ship. And there was a big outbreak on the ship, so no testing. So that's the thing. They need if the things work for MSC and Costa, I don't see how they wouldn't work here in North America if they are strict with their protocols. The protocols seem like they work so far, so I don't see like why the CDC is so hesitant, especially now when they got everything. Last time when they extended it, because October they only had them selling for 2 months, but now we have a few months now, so there's more evidence that the new protocols are working. But that's just, again, my opinion.
Let me get your opinion on this. I have heard rumors, and when I say heard rumors, from looking at websites and hearing different videos, that MSC has had more cases than have been announced. It hasn't been as clean cut a launch as they said because they don't require them to file it, so it doesn't become public knowledge. But a couple instances have actually leaked out. Have you heard the same thing?
Yeah, I've been hearing those things. However, thing with Costa, if you heard about the Costa Diadema, I believe they had that outbreak that got publicized because I think some charter company. I do definitely think some of the cruise lines are keeping it under wraps about these cases. But of course, they're not major outbreaks. But I do think some of them are keeping them under wraps, as they don't have to legally disclose, hey, there's a test on the ship. So that's where I'm definitely thinking that there are COVID test possibility on some of these ships. But again, none of this has been confirmed by the cruise line, but they
Right.
probably have them under wraps. So I'm sure definitely there's some information underneath there.
I've also heard a rumor, and don't know how true this is, but that the major cruise lines are actually considering not doing they require I guess it's 3 to 5 days in advance test, but they're not going to test at the ports. Have you heard that, or is that just?
That is probably a cruise I didn't talk about. For Royal Caribbean, because I follow them the most, it's really gray area because they say the 3 to 5 tests, but if you look at, they don't really list on their website that you're going to get tested when you board the ship. The part says secondary screening. So if you have a temperature, they're going to secondary screen you, which is very vague of a question because it doesn't, to my knowledge, it doesn't say on the website, especially for the Singapore restarting in a few weeks. It doesn't say you're going to be tested when you board the terminal. Again, I haven't read it to my knowledge, but I don't know about the COVID testing when you board the ship. It could be the one 3 to 5 days out, but hoping it would be when you board the ship. So it definitely cuts down on the cases possibly being there.
Now you're a lot younger than I am, Tyler. Do you have any fears of cruises, or would you jump on the cruise ship the second they open if you could?
Well, I would if I could. However, with all the quarantine stuff, I don't know. Don't want to be the guinea pig. Like, I would love to do the first sailing, but at the same time, people I cruise with, they're a little bit hesitant on of course hopping on one of these ships when they first stop sailing. But we definitely want to be on one of the first months. I'm not going to be like the first month, but maybe like 2 or 3 months out when we get a clearer picture of the protocols working. If there actually are any cases on the ships, I'm probably going to wait a few months out, but I definitely want to be one of the first ones in less than a year when they restart sailings for sure.
Yeah, listen, yeah, we're looking. Me and my wife, as you know, we're a lot older than probably the average people on here, but so we have a little bit more fears. But we're looking at actually booking for October. Halloween
Yeah.
next year. Trying to find a good cruise. And we figure that's kind of a safe area.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at doing a cruise to Thanksgiving because there's a good deal on the Omega ship. But we're waiting to book that cruise until we start sailing, so we know that they won't theoretically go back and cancel that sailing. So we know that we're definitely most likely cruising. So I'm not booking anything until they start sailing again, but we're waiting the days because who knows? It could be at the end of December the 1st for Royal Caribbean. So who
You're
knows?
thinking this Thanksgiving you're talking?
No, of course, next Thanksgiving because
Next, okay, because I didn't
yes.
know.
Sorry, I got to clarify that.
Now, how many cruises a year do you go on?
Usually it's only 2, but the last year was 3, and I was trying to. Actually, it was really only 2 last year. Basically 2 a year. I try to get on 2 cruises a year, but hoping
Yeah.
for more in the course when we get back cruising. Hopefully, maybe more, maybe 2, 3. Stuff to grow my channel because you can't really be a cruise vlogger, a cruise content creator without any cruise vlogs or cruise videos from the ships.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're all grabbing into our vaults to find
Yeah,
old time capsules, and it's nice. I mean, because we're all doing the same thing. But as soon
yeah,
as you start getting some people out there who are taking cruises, it's gonna grab all the views.
yeah,
So you're right,
definitely.
and you're in Florida. You could probably jump on one pretty quick.
Yeah, our governor has been pushing to restart cruising, so who knows? But we are wide open down here, so definitely if cruising will resume, I think it's going to be down in Miami, the first place. Probably going to be.
Yeah, well, I guess Lauderdale's smaller, right? Miami's a big
Yeah,
port.
Lauderdale has been not really like through the cruise shutdown with the repatriating of ships. Usually Lauderdale they haven't had really a ship since March, I believe. The Apex was just recently there, but I definitely think Miami and Port Canaveral will be one of the first ports to resume cruising for a lot of cruise lines, not just one cruise line.
Right. It's funny you talk about polar opposites. Your governor compared to the California one, Disneyland can't
Yeah.
even get someone to 25% to go into their parks, and Florida is wide open. Now, have you been to? It sounds like a good segue over to the parks. How many of the parks have you been to?
So I've been to 2 of the major Universal Orlando theme parks, of course. Um, those were fine. Again, they were pretty straightforward on their protocols with their health and safety, of course. Pretty strict, of course, with the mask wearing and stuff. But they're pretty good. I haven't done Disney because they are super strict and not feel like also I don't have a pass star, so it's not feel like paying the prices to go to Disney for there. But I also went to a theme park, of course, called Fun Spot. I've been to both of their parks. They're doing pretty good with their reopen. I was actually there for the reopening weekend for their when they reopened after the whole shutdown. And yeah, the park's been pretty good. Of course, editing videos of the park visits. Definitely was busy though. I mean, we were at Universal and they were not operating at 25% capacity. I definitely think they were operating closer to at least, I would say, 30 or even 45% capacity because it was busy.
Now, did you go on the week? I heard this. I think it was this past weekend. They hit capacity on both days or all 3 days over the
Yeah.
weekend. Were you there during that?
We were actually there during a Wednesday and Thursday, so it wasn't even actually even a weekend, or it was even a break either for school. So it was really weird timing, and they were still like mobbed. I mean, we even got up for early access to the park and to get on Hagrid's. It took us the brand new coaster at Universal. It took us an hour and 20 minutes to get on the ride, and that was early in the morning with supposedly less capacity. So I don't know about the whole claiming the parks are operating at lower capacity than 25%. So it's interesting to see.
Yeah, there was some of the Disney's claim. I think they're 25 or 30%, and someone was claiming that on the hush hush that they were. This is actually an employee that they were doing close to the 50% now. So
Yeah, if
I
you
don't
watch
know.
the crowds nowadays compared to like the beginning when the theme parks reopened, you watch even people's vloggers, you see them, and the crowds compared to when they first reopened, they're a whole lot more.
So we went. Now we were huge, both Universal and Disney fans. We would drive down with the kids when our kids were young. Every other year, I had a timeshare, so we'd go every other year for 14 to 17 days and hit the parks like crazy. And since we started cruising, we got a little hooked, which was about 6 years ago. We haven't not been back down there, so we're dying to get back down there. Must be nice having the best of both worlds, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Disney's nice, of course, but I've outgrown it. The rides there are not exactly they're good theming, right? But for thrilling, they're not there for my liking. So I do prefer Universal over Disney, but great theme parks, both of them. That's why nice down here. You can when you go to another state, you go to like a Six Flags park. You're kind of depressed when you've grown up at the most magical place on earth and movie studios.
Well, we ran into that even with Six Flags. Like Six Flags is a step up from our local amusement parks.
Yeah.
But when you start comparing Six Flags to Disney or Universal, it's hard to go back to Six Flags. There's no queuing areas. You're in the hot sun or the cold, and
Mm-hmm.
there's just no queuing.
Yeah,
Good.
big difference. No, big differences though. Six Flags, especially as you mentioned, the queuing. It's all outdoors compared to the much of the theme parks than here in Florida, which are all in air conditioning, interactive things in the queue.
Sometimes the queues are better than the rides on
Yeah, definitely.
occasions, which is funny. Now you're a big Royal Caribbean. Have you sailed other cruise lines?
Not yet. Only Royal Caribbean so far.
You know, my biggest hassle with you, you laugh at this, why I hate to switch from NCL to Royal Caribbean is? You want to take a quick guess?
The loyalty points.
No, not at all. The 24-hour chicken wings.
Oh,
You know, you just get addicted to those.
yep. On NCL, is it complimentary?
Yes. Yeah. And it's, like I said, it's 24 hours. They have a place called, well, I think they changed the name. It used to be called O'Sheenan's. It's like an Irish pub.
Yeah, yeah.
But they serve some decent food for 24 hours, and chicken wings is one of the ones they have. But you know, RCL is like the top of our hit list. We really wish list. We'd really like to go to on the NCL. Now, it sounds like you doing the bigger ships, or do you do all the different sizes?
My favorite class, I've done basically anywhere from Radiance class. So I haven't done the Vision class or Majesty or Empress. Those are on my hit list, of course, to get on. But I've basically done every class on Royal Caribbean except the Vision class and the Quantum class.
Okay, so you've done the what is it? The three is there three or four ships that are like the biggest in the world, but they're within a foot of each other in size?
Yeah, I've done Oasis of the Seas twice. I've done the Harmony of the Seas twice. Definitely big ships, of course. Some of the best I've ever sailed on. I love the Oasis class. My favorite class of ships, actually. Not my favorite ship, but my favorite class of ships because they're so similar, even though like they move generations. So the funny thing is, Oasis people don't know they were built in two different shipyards with two different like 10 years of design difference. Oasis 1 I think was built in 2010, and then the new Oasis class ships were built in 2018. So definitely small changes, but I really do love the good old Oasis class. They're my favorite class of ships because they just got almost everything. You want to park, you want activities, you want relaxing. They all have that on one vessel.
Now, what are your favorite things to do in the cruise? And you can extend this to your islands. I mean, are you an adventurer? Do you like the zip lines? Do you like the snorkeling? What's your biggest thing?
My favorite thing to do on a Royal Caribbean ship is the flow rider because it's,
Okay.
a mix between both, but I definitely like the adventure, the water slides, the zip line. I haven't done the zip line on the ship yet because I'm a little afraid of that 10-story drop, but other than that, I really like all the adventure activity stuff on there. That's really more what if you catch me, you're going to see me doing some of the activities on the ship. That's kind of where my niche is. Like I go to Coco Cay, I like doing the water park, the zip line. But now I've grown to enjoy other aspects of the cruise life, from the course the food, all the way over to just relaxing at the pool deck watching a movie. Definitely, you when you go on more cruises, to relax and see the smaller things. So it's probably where I'm going.
Well, it is funny because it's like going to theme parks or anything. You want to get as much done as you can, and then you start taking a step back and realizing relaxing time can be enjoyable too.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about the zip line, the 10-story drop. So you haven't, and I hope I get the right cruise line. So you haven't been on that big purple slide that goes from the top deck down.
I was going to go on the Ultimate Abyss on the Oasis class, of course, but the last sea day, which if you haven't seen my Harmony of the Seas vlogs, I kind of mentioned it in the videos. Those were my first cruise vlogs, of course, but this we had really bad seas, and also the Abyss, if it gets condensation on the slide, so it basically happens every morning, they close it down. And also on a sea day, the lines are just terrible. So I was like, oh, I'll just wait for the last sea day earlier in the morning. But it did come out condensation and also the rough sea, so they had to close it. But I definitely would do those slides because actually I've been talking to people who've been on those slides. They're actually slower than they look.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So, because you don't have the water, of course, so you
Yeah.
probably have that friction going. Are you on some kind of a bag or mesh cloth or something, or do you just gonna?
You're on a bag
Yeah.
where you put your feet. It's like a corn sack, those carnival
Yes.
slides. You basically that, but they have handles where you hold down like that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. The other thing I've always wondered, both with the zip line and the flow rider, which I think I saw you fall on that once, on the flow rider. Did you? Are the long lines? Do you make reservations? How do those work?
So as of right now, again, we don't know what's going to be in the future with Royal Caribbean and cruising, but as of right now, it is you just wait in line. Everything is come first serve, of course. For the zip line, again, same thing. If you book a Star Loft Suite on the Oasis class ships, actually Sky class, excuse, I know, yeah, Star class. Get those two confused. You get priority reservation. They can skip in line, but if you have basically everything is first come first serve for all the activities on board. On most ships, again, Royal Caribbean, the bigger ships like the Oasis class for laser tag and stuff, it is you have to make reservations for. But on the smaller ships and almost every other activity on the ship, it's mostly first come first serve.
Okay, because that would be we're inside cabin guys. That's really the way we afford the one or
Yeah.
two trips a year. So it wouldn't be reservations probably for us. It'd be waiting in line. How long? Any idea how long the lines for those
Depends on
are?
the cruise. So I flow rider a lot on the cruise ship. So when I do the flow rider, depends on the day, of course. If you get up early, early, like in the morning sessions, usually that's the shortest line. Right around sail away, around like 3-4 o'clock, those are usually the longest lines. And depending on the ship you're on and the time of year, the line's usually about 20 minutes to get from the top of the line, plus at sail away time, all the way to the actual flow rider. And recently now they limited you to one ride. So if you basically were on there less than 10 seconds or so and you fall, you have to get back in line. But if you fell less than 10 seconds, they'll let you back on usually. But it
Okay,
definitely is usually about 20 minutes to get on the line, on the flow rider, should say.
and say you're good at it. How long will they let you stay on it?
Usually they let you on for however long you can stay on. Usually the staff will let you make you say, hey, do this trick, do that trick to try to get you to wipe off.
Okay.
However, I like to be courteous, and after about 20 minutes, after about 2 minutes or so, get off. Be courteous with other people.
Now you said you've some of the early videos I saw you were falling off quite a bit, but you've done it so many times. Are you pretty good at it now?
Oh yes, definitely. I got it down to a science. However, I may be a little sloppy now since I haven't been on there in 8 months, I believe. So, but when I was the last cruise before the shutdown in January, was pretty good. I was able to carve deeply into it, but yeah, pretty good at it.
That's great. That's great. Anything else you'd like to share with us on anything?
No, any more questions before I go?
No, I hate to keep you on here any
Oh,
longer.
don't worry.
Okay, well then let's see. We covered the parks and we covered the. You haven't done any other cruise lines yet. Okay, how about the islands? I'm always looking for excursions. Now we love snorkeling, so we usually have at least one snorkel excursion. Any you can recommend, and what island they're from on?
I haven't took that many excursions in the recent days. I've mostly been on the ship, of course, but Coco Cay, I can tell you about Coco Cay, or I can tell you I last excursion, I believe that was St. Martin. I did a snorkeling excursion there. I think it was, I don't know what beach it was at. It was at one of these private resorts or something. It was an okay excursion. It was really wavy when we were there, and it was earlier in the morning. Um, Again, it was also in the winter time too, so that excursion was okay. But the main highlight excursion, though, my favorite excursion of all times, has to be the San Juan walking tour, where you dock the ship in Old San Juan, and then you go to the forts, and then you go to, of course, then both forts. You go to the old one and then the new one. After those forts, then they take you back to the ship, which you have to walk all through Old San Juan. You see all the pigeon park. You see the bridge of and the umbrellas. So that probably has to be my favorite excursion though I ever done. But
Is that one you did yourself, or is that one you did with a group?
with a group, cruise line. Most of the excursions I do is through the cruise line because of they're going to bring you back on the ship in time. So we book for the priority, and also it's only like $10 extra usually for the cruise line excursion sometimes. So why we just book sometimes it's mostly the same tour too. So we try to book the cruise line for that peace of mind that you know that you're going to make it back to the ship, or they're going to pay for you to get back to the ship.
We usually do that for those exact reasons. We did San Juan. We actually laid out almost the same trip you did, but it was just going to take it ourselves because the port was right there, and we figured there's no problem getting back. We had everything laid out, and it would have been a great excursion, like you said. And then our ship broke down. We were on the NCL gem, and the engine broke down, so they had to skip San Juan. But that sounds like something to look forward to next time we're back there. What other excursions would you recommend?
Let's see. I did the want to recommend. I haven't done it yet though, but again, highest priority. One of the best excursion would have to be the water park at Costa Maya. Again, I haven't done this one, but according to photos I've seen, highly recommended. It's just absolutely phenomenal. Of course, you got the water park there is actually better than the one in Cozumel. So Cozumel, fun story. This is a story I have. They have we went to the Cozumel, of course, Playa Mia or something, and one of the small like beach resorts there. They charge like $60 for this resort and didn't include lunch or anything. Anyhow, it was an okay park. They had a few water slides there, a pool, the beach, of course. But for the same price, for half of that price, actually, for $30, you could go to the water park in Costa Maya, which is just the water park Costa Maya. If you haven't seen already, it's crazy, like top notch theming. It's a Mayan temple water park. So that's what I'd recommend. I haven't done, but the best cruise line water park or water excursion I've ever done had to be Atlantis in the Bahamas.
Oh, you did that. You did the water park itself.
Yes, absolutely worth it. The price is on the steeper side, but absolutely 110% worth it. The water slides are just out of this world. You got the one where you go through the shark tank. You have those crazy water coasters, and the lazy river is actually the best lazy river I believe personally out there in the industry. You have rapids, you got wave pool, you got a chain lift takes you up to the major water slides. It's arguably some of the best theme park waters, lazy river engineering out there.
Did you do that with an excursion, with a ship excursion, or did you just take a cab over?
I did that with Royal Caribbean because, of course, the our ship, because we were on the bigger ships and we were doing a Eastern Caribbean itinerary. We were coming back, I believe, at like the ship left at 2 o'clock, and we only had like a few hours there, so we did it through the ship just in case we would miss the ship, because sometimes they do leave earlier than 2 o'clock, so we didn't want to take any chances.
Now, you said the price on the steep side, over $100 probably for this type of
Yes,
thing?
it's a
Okay,
hundred and I think 130.
130. Okay, and that's what, maybe half day, 4 hours type of thing?
Depending where your ship is. I'd say the better value is, depending on time your ship is, of course. That was a half day pass, which they say half day and full day, but they don't really keep track of you what time you're there because it's through the hotel. Um, but I say the best value though is for the water park is if your ship stays until 11 o'clock at night or something like that.
Right. Okay. So the park's open that late. And you mentioned the one, and I forget what the island was, but is it the one with the temple? Is that the one you can actually see the temple from the cruise ship? The
Yes,
water
that
park?
is the one.
Yeah,
One
I was
Costa
seeing it.
Maya.
Cosmile, yes. It was really funny. We went to the ruins, the Mayan ruins on that one, but we were looking at that, and these ladies next to us were talking about how that was an old Mayan ruin and all this kind of stuff, and it just cracked me up. I hated to correct them.
Yeah.
They probably thought that was their first exposure and told everyone back home that they
Yeah.
saw the Mayan ruins. Um, so,
That's a
anything,
nice one.
any other places you'd point out, like to point out, or?
Coco Cay, let's talk about that quickly. That is arguably the best private island out there in the cruise industry. And I'm not even saying this, I've seen the other ones, but this one, it's just mind boggling how much they've been there. And when I first went there, before I went there, I was like, this is hype and stuff. But the place is actually pretty legendary. It's actually so good that I had to book 3 other cruises to come back there. It was just that great.
Don't you wish, with this stuff going on now, you know how they're talking about you have to go to a foreign port, and I guess these qualify as foreign ports, these
Yes.
private islands. Wouldn't you love them to just go there and park the ship for 3 days?
Mm-hmm. Well, originally in Royal Caribbean built that, and I got so much positive feedback. They were like teasing, "Well, we're going to have over weekend stays here at Coco Cay." I so bad wish they would do that. It's just that great of a private island.
I wonder why they don't. I mean, I guess it's because there's so many ships and they got to take their turn. But with this, so
I heard that the reason they do that is they have a deal with the Bahamian government somehow that they have to stop at Nassau when they go to the private islands. I don't know how true that deal is, but I heard that there was a deal that the Bahamian government makes it. If they want to go to the private islands, they have to go to Nassau.
that was supposedly has been in place because they want them to spend money in the downtown area. And I did hear though that they made an allowance with this stuff going on now if they open
Yeah.
it up to go to just the private islands. But now I've heard that Bahamas are not reneging; they didn't make any agreement, but they're now getting hesitant to open up.
Yeah,
There was,
I heard about that.
yeah, and they were going to be like the savior island for a lot of these cruise lines.
Yeah,
So
but another thing though is I don't know if Mexico. I think Mexico's open. I'm not sure if the Mexican ports. I know like Cancun stuff's open, so I wonder if they're going to sail to Mexico. I think that's open. Not sure though.
yeah, because Mexican the big well, okay, there's the West Coast, which would be from California, which of course they're not sailing from California,
Yeah.
and the East side would be the ones we're used to from Florida. So I guess if they did open up, they could try and do those kind of
Yeah,
trips. But they'd have
they
to do at
usually
least
do
7 days.
4 night trips from to Mexico, usually every winter time. So I definitely don't see why they don't do it when they start sailing again.
Now, one of the ports they're not going to open is, or at least for a while, is Tampa, correct? And is that because of the smaller ships?
Yes, that's the reason. Because the smaller ships they don't have the capacity, and cruise lines when they're going to start up, there's no small cruise line of Tampa, so they won't theoretically start up at Tampa till a while because all the cruise ships that sail out of Tampa are small ships. So why invest the time and money when you're not going to make as much money if you send a bigger ship out from another port?
Right, absolutely.
But sadly, that bridge is killing the port of Tampa.
So what would you say about that?
The bridge is killing the port of Tampa.
Okay, yeah, that's what I heard it was. There's some bridge. I'm not sure where that bridge is. I guess it must be when they leave the port. It's just at the entrance before it goes
It's
onto the
actually
bridge.
like 3 hours away from the actual port itself from boat cruise because you have to go. The port Tampa is there's a harbor, Hillsborough Harbor Channel, but there's a big Port Tampa is all the way back, and there's a big bay they have to sail through. It's a good 3 hours to get to the bridge itself. I've done that sailing about 2 times before. And it's a scenic sail away, but it's a long one. It takes them a good few hours to get out into the actual Gulf of Mexico.
So is the bridge right at the mouth of where you get into the Gulf, right at the entrance? It is, okay. Trying to picture what bridge that was. I've only been to that. Well, I've been to that area a handful of times, but not that often. That's great. Do you ever go over the Busch Gardens at all?
I haven't done it actually yet, but when they open up their new roller coaster, I'm definitely going to go look at getting annual passes to there and SeaWorld Orlando.
Which park? It sounds like you're a roller coaster guy. Which park has the best roller coasters in Florida?
In Florida, Busch Gardens, hands down. As right now, Busch Gardens.
Oh, it is, okay. That's something good to know.
It has a whole bunch of new coasters.
That's good. Tyler, you've been so full of information. This has been great. I'd like to get you up here some other time, but I don't want to tie you up for the whole day. And you tested out my system, which is good. We've stayed online without dropping out. So
tested my system too. Looks like you're gonna have no buffering anymore.
Yeah, sounds. Is that must be your backdrop, right? That the sound waves going through.
Oh yeah, that's mine. It's a full backdrop. You should see it tomorrow for my live show.
That's right, Friday. What time are you on Friday? So people know.
Should be around Friday at 5:00 Eastern Standard Time for, of course, the only weekend kickoff show. Hopefully this Friday. If anything doesn't come up, we should definitely have a live show. Of course, it's going to be the first one in 2 weeks, so should be an awesome live show for sure.
And you may have some big news too. Like you said, if they make decisions on the cruise on Friday, you could have the breaking news in the industry, Tyler, tomorrow.
I could have it.
So tune in to watch your show.
5:00.
And this is the Tyler Show. If you don't have him, go over and look at his channel. Thank you very much for coming up, Tyler. I really appreciate it. And it was a great conversation. So you have a good weekend.
You have a great one too, John. Take it easy.
Take it easy. Well, that was great. That turned into a fantastic interview. I was very surprised the loads of information he has. So make sure you check him out. Well, we've been testing this thing out for an hour. I went through my sports, and like I said, this was a test because we lost our internet at noontime on Wednesday, and we're never able to do our live. So we moved that live. That was going to be kind of a Halloween thing. We moved our live to Saturday now, this coming Saturday at 2 p.m. And our costumes should be back from the laundry by then. And we'll still have our normal live at 5 p.m. on Sunday. You're very welcome, Tyler. So I don't know if anyone wants to pop up before I get off and just give a little plug for their channel. That'd be fine. And if not, actually, I'll put this one more time. Okay. Let's see. Great. Thank you very much. So, like I said, Nancy is not. People have asked, where's Nancy? Nancy is at work. I get back from the dentist, and during this conversation, maybe it's from doing all the talking now, my face, which was all sorts of Novocaine from some dental surgery, I got home, I threw this on, I was kind of numb and probably gobbled, and now it seems like it's all worn off. So I guess this was beneficial medically to me too. So let's see, let me just go through, acknowledge let's go all the way back. Okay, we had Sherry join us at the beginning of the show. MGM Travel was here. Tyler's show popped on. I didn't realize they were going to be roped into a lengthy interview, a really very good interview. If you want to learn more about Tyler's antics, look at the replay of this. We had Vanderella. We had Johnny's Journey, who I don't know if they can hear us. They were driving, pick up. Let's see, is it right there? They're going to pick their daughter up at the airport, and I don't know if they can still hear us. Let's see. Hugh Studio. Oh, Hani, I see you. Hani just popped up. I'll jump on you in a minute. Just want to finish going through the chat here. I'll channel the beach life, which is Hani, and he has just jumped into my side room here. So I am now going to bring up Hani. Hani.
Hey,
Hey,
hey, hey. Good, good.
first,
How are you?
I guess this is the first time face to face, even though we talk a lot on Marco Polo.
Yeah, definitely. Good to be on. I just had a quick lunch break and I thought, hey, let me jump on and say hello.
This is a great way. Well, before I talk to you, why don't you give a little plug to your channel out there and tell me about that?
Yeah, absolutely. For those that haven't had a chance to meet me or see my channel, it's the Beach Life, as you see in the name there. And I just started in this creative world. I was pretty much a supporter for quite some time, and decided, you know what, this is kind of fun. Let me do some live shows and start uploading some videos. And um, the beach life name, basically, I live in Arizona, but I grew up in San Diego and spend a lot of time there when my kids are out of school. So it was just kind of a name that popped up and I liked it, and so decided to go with it. So I usually do a weekly live show on Wednesdays called Hani's Hump Day Hangout. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern time this week, and that's what I just wanted to plug real quick because I know it's gonna a lot of people don't always check Facebook and those type of things. I swapped with the Q's Cruisers, who are down in Cancun, so they took my slot last night. So I'm going to take their slot on Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time again. And my guest will be Midlife Crazy, for those that who know Midlife Crazy, and I actually had a surprise guest come out of nowhere with Beach Please. If anybody hasn't been connected with them, go take a look. They're really a great couple, out also from the West Coast as well. So that's tomorrow night. Should be a lot of fun.
That sounds great. Now, I've been following you. I can't remember where I see people now, if it's on lives or it's on the Marco Polo. But you and your wife and best friend, I guess, and his wife went up to Disneyland, right?
Yeah, my wife didn't get to go, unfortunately. She's a realtor. That's why many people don't see her, whether it be on lives or other stuff. She's a realtor. And right now it's crazy. You wouldn't think that we're in the middle of a pandemic, because in Arizona, and I hear from other markets, the real estate market is just absolutely bonkers right now. So she's been really, really busy. But yeah, I went with my best friend, his wife, and his daughter. It was his daughter's birthday, and she wanted to go there. And I said, hey, you know what? I'll join you guys to get a little vlogging in.
Now, I got confused because I remember talking to you, wondering how you got into Disneyland when no one else in the world could. But I guess what they did is you can explain that they opened up the downtown area.
Yeah, so Disneyland in Southern California and Anaheim, they have a downtown Disney area, and I've never been to the one in Walt Disney World, so I don't know if they have something similar, but they have this downtown Disney area. It's basically a bunch of shops and restaurants. I've said it a million times. Disney knows how to market. They know how to get people in to spend money, and they do really, really good job at it. So, yeah, it's just a bunch of shops and restaurants, but it was amazing how busy it was, given the circumstances. But their safety protocols, so far, of everywhere that I've gone to, including Las Vegas, are second to none. I mean, they when you get there, they do a temperature check. Then you run through the little security with the dogs, and then they check your bags. That's just normal stuff. But while you're walking around, always have to have a mask. Even if you slip it down for just a second, there's somebody. It's like they pop out of nowhere to tell you, "Hey, put your mask up." And then this was kind of interesting to me, because most of the places I've been to, if you're eating or drinking, they don't really bother you about having your mask up or having your mask down or up, depending on what you're doing. So I had a Starbucks, and I pulled my mask up, and as I was walking to have a drink, and they reminded me that you have to sit down. So if you want to have your food or drinks, you need to be sitting. You cannot be walking around, trying to buck the system or whatever. That some people are taking advantage of that.
Well, that's exactly right. People will be people. Disney World had a rule in place when they first opened that you could walk around and drink. That was okay. So people, of course, had to find a way to skirt it. They carry a bottle of water and not wear a mask. Basically, they were drinking their water the whole time. So Disney nixed that, and I think they actually made areas that if someone wants to drink, they got to go into an area, kind of like a non-smoking area, and drink. And it sounds like they're doing the same thing on the West Coast.
Yeah, they decided to have, I mean, anywhere you're sitting, they have like little benches, and even their like areas where you sit, they did a really good job with that. They marked them off, and I'll have a vlog up here soon, hopefully. But they had them marked off where you couldn't sit, so they had 6 feet of distance between the sitting areas and the non-sitting areas, if you will. So they did a really good job with that. But yeah, so if you're sitting down, that was okay. But if you're walking, not going to happen. So.
And Disney does it right. I found that with everything. They always do it right. The government's actually gone on several occasions, gone to them for advice on crowd control issues. So they do it right. And I can understand the crowds there too, because people need their West Coast Disney fix, right? And that's the only way to get it right now.
Yeah, because the other parks there, Knott's Berry Farm, Universal Studios are also closed. But same thing, they have like shop areas or restaurants outside of the facility that are open. Same thing. I went the second day. I went to Universal Studios or Universal City Walk, excuse me. That's where I met up with Midlife Crazy, Brad and Kimberly, and Daniel and Nancy Fields. We met for
Nice.
lunch, but yeah, that was really nice. That was a lot of fun. But again, just the shops and restaurants, and not all of them, mind you, but a majority of them were open.
Now you're from Arizona. How long? That's going to be a little bit of a drive to Disneyland, isn't it?
It was like a little over 5 hours, all right, between 4 and 5, depending on traffic and stuff.
So you spent a few nights up there, or you didn't do that one day?
We drove out Thursday night, and we stayed there Friday, Saturday, and drove back Sunday. Oh, actually, Sunday. Sorry, we went to San Diego. We hit up a hamburger spot that's popular in San Diego called Hodad's, and then drove home.
I think, did you do videos, or am I just thinking of the Marco Polo? You showed a lot of this stuff, right? The hotel and
I did a lot of live. Yeah, I think
you did a live. Okay. It is funny trying to keep track of this stuff now, isn't it, though?
Yeah. Between Marco Polo and Facebook Live and YouTube. Yeah.
You never thought your life would get this way, did you? A year ago, I never would have thought I'd be so into YouTube.
Yeah, it's funny because, I kind of watched it casually. Most of it, like most other people, was just for research. And actually, I didn't do research on, and now looking back, I wish I did. I didn't do a whole lot of research prior to going. I went and tried to figure it out. Thank God we have YouTube to be able to do that research. But what I found is that everybody really vacations differently. And it doesn't matter if it's on a cruise ship or land-based vacation. So it's never going to be an apples to apples comparison. But to have the variety, like a lot of people think, oh, is it overkill to have so many different people talk about the same thing? Maybe, but not so much, because not everybody does things the same way.
Plus, when you get a face to it, like I've been enjoying watching our friends down there in Cancun. If those were just strangers, I'd probably turn it off after a couple minutes. But you get into it because you can put faces to voices to friendships, if you want to call it that, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You kind of feel like you're watching a friend, friend's video or family's video. These people, it's weird how they do become like friends and family.
I was jealous. I got to say that until they get the hurricane. Now I'm back to jealous again when they saw him in the pool. But
yeah, that the potential of sleeping in that room that they showed overnight, the banquet hall or whatever it was. I was thinking to myself, I made the comment. I know that at least one person there has a CPAP machine. So what do you do if you have a CPAP machine? I mean, based off what I saw in the video or picture, I'd have to be like near a wall somewhere that has a plug to be able to sleep at night.
You'd have to figure it would have to be a lot worse of a hurricane. I think they got the category 1, for them to be down in the ballroom like that. That seems to really be pushing it. Even though I don't think I would have survived in that meal they gave them, their last meal.
No. That would have been awful. I did notice, and I'm trying to remember whose polo I saw, where they actually asked them to bring, what was it, Rafi or somebody? Anyway, but they asked them to bring another, meal to the room, and I definitely would have done the same.
Yeah, I would have tried to grab anything I could. The other thing was I can understand not wanting people to get drunk, and having the bars open. But you would think that sounded like they wouldn't even give them cans of soda or stuff to keep in their fridge. So I
Yeah,
don't
that
know.
was really odd, especially being that it was all inclusive. Yeah, you're right. I thought that was kind of odd.
But now, what do you got planned for? Do you have anything booked at all? Or are you just waiting to see what happens?
It's funny. Everybody asks the same question. I am probably one of the few that are actually trying to wait this thing out, and the main reason why is that I just don't know what those protocols are going to be. And not to sound like a Debbie Downer, but I don't know that I want to cruise and or vacation where like I guess especially after this whole downtown Disney thing, I appreciate why they're doing it. I followed the rules and did in talking to the staff, they're like, hey, we just want to stay open, and I said I get it, and that's perfectly fine. But for me, I was miserable. I'm not gonna lie to you, John. I was absolutely miserable having to wear that mask constantly and walk around and all that. It's probably the longest period of time that I had to wear a mask. I'm fortunate enough to work from home, so I don't have to do that. I understand other people have to work and they are wearing their masks at work 8, 10, 12 hours. I haven't had to do that. And so to have to do that on vacation does not appeal to me personally.
No, I can fully understand it. I have gotten more used to it, but I work odd shifts. So, when people go home, I take my mask off. But I can't picture sitting there in front of a computer for 8 hours a day. That would be an awful long time. I am getting more used to it. I go back and forth on the cruise ship if I would wear one on there, and I think I would. But I'm the same as you. Nancy and I decided we were going to wait till at least one cruise ship went out there. But I keep getting sucked in. You hear people talking about this and that, and it might sell out soon. All right, maybe we should take a chance and book it and cancel it and lose our deposit. And we keep going back and forth on that.
Oh, I'm right there with you, John. I'm right there with you. Every time somebody brings up these group cruises or whatever, I start thinking, should I call? Should I do this? And I'm like, no, because I just, like I said, I want to know, and I want to know that they're going to be able to do it successfully. Because the other thing that worries me, John, is that once you get on that ship, if something happens, right, the fact that I know, and this has already happened, right, where people were stuck in quarantined to their rooms for long periods of time, right? Outside the 14 days. And just to think, I mean, I normally don't get balconies because I'm not a guy that spends a lot of time in his room. So I usually am either in an interior or an ocean view, most likely an ocean view. I can't imagine being stuck, whether it be just by myself or with my whole family in a room for 10, 14 longer days. That's another thing that concerns me.
Well, and that's an extremely valid point. What if day 2 you go into a restaurant and your temperature's high for whatever reason? You're in the jacuzzi with your head under the water, or you're out you fell asleep in the sun, but it registers high. So all of a sudden now you're in for the next 3-4 days in the room quarantine, and you weren't even. It could even be a false positive type of thing. So you're right. I mean, and that's why I say, we really have to keep our eyes on it. Even if we book something, we'll wait right till till we can cancel, and maybe back out. But you go back and forth. I just don't know.
Yeah, it's a constant struggle. I'm not gonna lie to you, but right now I'm just kind of, and I have 3 cruises that got canceled in 2020. I had one in May, end of May. I had one in July, July 4th, and then I had one at the end of October. Actually, it was supposed to leave in 2 days. It was a group cruise with Josh Hokum, if you know who he is.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a group cruise with Josh Hokum, and that got canceled. So all 3 of those are still yet to be rebooked.
Have you done the group cruise yet?
I have not. And it's funny. We've had conversations offline on Marco Polo. With different people, or I've had, I should say, with different people about group cruising. And it's kind of like I said to you earlier about how everybody vacations differently. And then when I went to Las Vegas with Sharon at Sea and the Ship Show and those guys, and it was. There's always going to be different people with, different age groups, different health levels, all those type of things. And it's hard. And I know I know many have done it successfully. I know Josh has done it successfully, but you always have to make sure that you are accommodating as many people as possible, so nobody that comes feels left out. So I don't envy any of the people that are organizing these things, because like I said, the Las Vegas one was really a quick meetup, nothing fancy, kind of an unofficial group gathering. But even that, logistically, especially now with the pandemic, it was I can because we couldn't even do a big dinner together, right? Because we had to be spread out into different tables when we ate at the Nine Fine Irishmen.
Well, and that's very interesting. You touch on a lot of good points there, and we've looked at it too. You hear people talking about group cruising, and you swear that everyone's been on it and everyone knows each other, and it's just the opposite. Most of us have gotten closer or gotten to know other people through this type of medium, and have never been on a group cruise. I mean, our big goal now is to get on a few group cruises, but we have not done that yet, and the same thing, we ask each other, okay, if we go on one, are we going to do everything as a group? I guess some of them you just get together for dinner. That's a nice way to do it, or a couple of social hours type of thing. But you all have different excursions too.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, outside of like I said, different physical levels and age, but also financial levels, right? Not some of these excursions can be a little spendy. And if you maybe just budgeted enough to go to that thing and just do, and a lot of people, they don't do excursions. They'll either hang out on the ship or maybe go off the ship, do something around it, and they don't book excursions. So another thing you got to factor in, it's not easy. That's for sure.
Well, and that's funny you said about the financial. Like one of the things we've talked about the most is we never get the drinking package. We wouldn't drink the limited on drinking package. Now I'm saying with some of these groups, am I going to constantly be walking around with a drink in my hand? And that's something I should be looking at because you just feel uncomfortable if you don't have one.
It's true. Yeah, that's a good point. I never really considered that, but I guess depending on I haven't been on any other ships than Carnival. With Carnival, if you are an adult and you have another adult in the room, even if let's say I want to drink and my wife doesn't, we both have to pay for the drink package no matter what. So that makes it a little bit more difficult. If it's just me, let's just say, then maybe I would consider. And I don't drink that much, so I probably wouldn't under normal circumstances. But with some of these people, I might want to consider it.
Yeah, I mean, you almost have to in some ways. I think most cruise lines do it that way, where everyone in your room, with the exception of kids, but like NCL, the two adults have to get the drink package, but the kids you have to put on the soda package, even if they're in the same room. Well, so it does go back and forth.
Yeah, the good. Sorry, I just noticed. I just looked down at my chat. Hi, Sherry. How are you? Sorry, I missed that earlier. But on the drink package, at least for Carnival, again, I can only speak for that one. It includes the specialty coffee, which my wife and I definitely do enjoy the specialty coffees there. They also include, I think, soda and like the Gatorade or whatever. So it does include other stuff other than alcohol. So like I said, if I was going by myself, I might consider it just because it includes all those other things, but not just purely for alcohol. I just don't drink that much. I'm kind of a lightweight, honestly.
Well, Sherry just put up here that her group cruises. Now she's a travel agent, and if you're looking for a travel agent, look up Sherry Awesome Sunset Travel, and she does group cruises. I guess that's her specialty. She claims that the groups do their own thing, and she follows it up with saying they usually eat dinner together. Now that's a nice way to do it. So you're not stuck with each other, I guess, for the whole day if you don't want to be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's definitely a good way to do it. I haven't, as I mentioned earlier, I haven't been on one. I always thought, it's kind of like how we're just talking about whether or not we should rebook or whatever. And I've always been that way with the group cruises. Do I do one? Do I not do one?
Right.
And I just decided. So I kind of started getting into this cruise thing, and that's how. I mentioned Josh earlier. I'm a moderator on Josh's channel, and that was really the only thing that I was watching his videos, maybe a couple others, but I was mainly watching. One of the things I like is that you really feel he's a young man, but I feel like he's a little bit wise and more mature beyond his years. But you always felt like you were right there with him, even on those group cruises. You felt like you were there in attendance. And I noticed that there was a wide variety of, again, like I said, ages and physical levels and things like that. And some way, somehow, he's made it. I think he's had two, and he had a third one that got canceled. If I remember correctly, it was on MSC. But he found a way to still do excursions, try to include people. But it was always, like Sherry said, you have a choice. You could, but the dinners were always together, but again, people had the choice of not going as well.
And he's wise beyond his years. I watch him. I think he's around 25 now, but he does seem to have, for some reason, a real insight on how to handle those type of things. he seems to give everyone the right attention and keep people together. So, yeah, I mean that's one of the many group cruises I see out there. The other thing that gets me, you wonder, like people saying having dinners together. I've never been to a specialty restaurant. I'm basically main dining room or buffet type. So, it's the type of thing now where these groups are going to gravitate towards a specialty restaurants, that you wonder these kind of things.
Yeah, I've always done. I always, well, more recently, I should say, I prefer the main dining room over the buffets. I just the buffets tend to get a little overwhelming, unfortunately, at times, and I like that sit down dining experience with the showtime and all that. So there's many reasons why, but I haven't done any of the specialty dining. I did get the $600 onboard credit that Carnival offered for not refunding back and just keeping your future cruise credit. So I still have that 600. So now next time I go, maybe I'll use some of that on excursion, maybe some on specialty dining, because I would definitely like to try some of the specialty dining restaurants.
That's a pretty good amount. You said 600.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you can get the specialty package, the drinking package, and throw an excursion or two for that amount, right?
That's true. That's true. Absolutely.
Can you put that to, that's strictly on board, bro? That's why they call it that, I assume. So you can use it for the internet, all that kind of stuff, just not towards the price of the cruise itself. But
Yeah.
I think on NCL we're able to use it towards the gratuities. Can you do that with Carnival?
That's a good question. I'll have to ask when I do rebook. But you know what? If I'm going with my family, I think I could use that between excursions and specialty dining and whatever. That $600 would probably go pretty easily.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Now you went up to Disneyland. Do you travel land trips anywhere else, or was that one trip?
We do. We used to do a lot of road trips. My wife's family's in Chicago, so we
Okay.
used to do a lot of drives out to Chicago. I don't know that I've driven. We drove back from Minnesota when we lived there for like 9 months and drove back. But we used to love doing road trips. Our girls, I have 3 girls, and they're all really good travelers. But I started after a while, just like I don't know, you get tired because I'm the one that's usually driving, and I feel like I'm missing out, and so we don't do it as much. Just we do regular trips to San Diego because again, that's where my family's at. So whenever the kids are out of school, we'll head over to San Diego.
Sounds good. That's a nice area. My wife's been many moons ago to the zoo out there, and that's the one thing I've wanted to visit in California.
It's nice. San Diego is awesome. I mean, you've seen some of the. I don't know if you've seen. Like I put up the Seaport Village vlog, and oh wow, $700 onboard credit on Royal. Yeah,
Wow, some of these are pretty good.
What's that? Sorry, John.
No, I was saying some of these credits are pretty good, but go ahead, finish what you were saying about we talking about the zoo?
Oh yeah. So when I was living out there, and even not living out, actually we have SeaWorld annual passes that SeaWorld graciously extended another year just because of everything that's going on. So I have it till next May, I think it is. But I love SeaWorld. I love the San Diego Zoo. And if you're a zoo member, you can also go to used to be called the Wild Animal Park. I know they've renamed it to something else, but so there's 2 different parks you can go to, one downtown San Diego and the other one's up in a city called Escondido. And there's a lot of other free things that you can go to, like Seaport Village, Balboa Park, which is right next to the San Diego Zoo. San Diego's a great town. Again, I may be a little biased because I grew up there, but it's definitely a fun place to go visit.
Have you ever been to the East Coast at all for anything?
Mostly for business travel. I traveled a lot for work, especially the first, I don't know, 15 years that I was been in this industry. And up in the Northeast, I've never been to Maine, Delaware, Vermont, but I've been to Connecticut. I've been to New York. But yeah, so to answer your question, I have, but I'd like to go there for personal travel.
She's never been to we live in New Hampshire. She's never been to my neck of the woods or Massachusetts.
That's one on the list I haven't been to now.
But you're in the cruising, so it's funny. But I've never been to Texas, never been to New Orleans, and I'd say, I'm probably going to see them because I'm going to get on the cruise there and go early and see the area. And the same with California. Never really thought about going to California, but I would like to go cross country and maybe take a cruise out of there. So that's a door that will open for all of us, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll like Galveston. If you get a chance to go out of Texas and go Galveston, it's a cool town. That was the last cruise we did in October 2019. It was my wife, my three girls, and then my mom and dad. It was cool because one of the things I've always wanted to do is cruise with my mom and dad, and I hadn't had a chance to, and we did it before all this thing shut down. So that was one good thing that came out of that. But we all loved Galveston. We thought it was a really cool town.
Now, did you drive there or did you fly? That's a flight, right?
Yeah, we flew. You could drive there from Arizona, but that would have been a long drive for my parents to have to sit.
Yeah, that's true. And have you gone out of New Orleans? You've never gone out of New Orleans, right?
No, I'd like to. That's one thing that intrigued me about the 2023 cruise is it was going out of New Orleans.
Right. That's in the winter, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's in the end of January, which I don't know what the weather's like in in those ports, but I prefer to go when the weather's nice.
Yeah, I don't blame you. What other ports have you been out of? What are the main ports?
I usually have gone out of Long Beach. So when I first started sailing or started cruising, it was always out of Long Beach because I was in California or even Arizona. It's a short drive. But more recently, I went out of Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and Galveston.
Fort Lauderdale, Miami. Okay, so you've been out of those two ports. What's your opinion on Fort Lauderdale versus Miami?
Miami, oh, geez. It was okay. It wasn't I kind of felt like Miami and Fort Lauderdale were pretty much the same. Went through pretty quickly. Sure, saying she'd like to sail on the Carnival Panorama. Yeah, I know. I was hoping to sail on her at least what was it, 3 times this last year. All three.
Is that the one you were booked? You were booked on that one?
All 3 of them. Yeah, all 3 that I had booked in 2020 were on the Panorama.
That is a nice. That's like the second. The newest is the Mardi Gras, right? Correct, and then the Panorama is next to that.
Panorama is the newest. Mardi Gras, when it comes out, will be the newest. Yeah.
We just say hello to Healthy Living with Ms. Renee the Barber, and also say hello to T and K.
Hello, guys. Thank you for jumping on.
Anything else you'd like to share with your travels or about yourself?
Oh, geez. As far as travels are concerned, I for ships, and again, I've only been on Carnival, so I can only speak for Carnival. One of the things that I tell people, and I'm curious. Let me before I say this. Are you normally a Carnival guy, or what do you sail different ships?
Most of my ships are in NCL, but I'm not. I love them all. The reason we do NCL is we're from New Hampshire and we like to drive to port, and they go out of Boston and New York. But we're looking at Florida to maybe do Carnival / Royal Caribbean. Those are and MSC also.
So for me, I'm trying to get to platinum status. I'm so close. Well, I was getting to be even closer after this year, but I want to get to platinum level, and then I don't mind venturing out after that because there's such a big gap between platinum and diamond. I figured, man, that's going to take ages to get to that point, but I'm close enough to platinum to where it's worth finishing those up. But the point I was going to make is those that have been on Carnival. I'm curious what their thoughts are, but we went on the Vista, Carnival Vista, which is a sister ship to the Panorama and Horizon. So they're all part of that Vista class. It was the first one. And it was the first time that I went on a ship that had that new atrium with that, big old light thingy in the middle, or whatever you want to call it, without the glass elevators. So that was it was kind of weird because I'm a bit of a traditionalist in the sense that, like, to me, that was when you go on a cruise ship and you see those glass elevators, especially on a Carnival ship, it was really kind of neat to see that. But that one, I was like, okay, whatever, I can live with that. The one thing I didn't care much for personally was, should have pulled and me and married someone who's already platinum. Yeah, that's a good point, TJ. um, so the promenade on the Vista, it's actually two levels. It's the fifth floor and the fourth floor, and it's very narrow. Whereas in the traditional carnival ships, the promenade was the fifth floor, but it was very wide. You kind of can sit and hang out, and people watch and that type of thing. So to me, I found that to be really disappointing. They changed the way that they did their main theater called the Liquid Lounge to where before they had these big long seats and stuff, and now they had individual seats where so they can move things around. I don't know that I cared much for that. I felt like it was a little bit more, a little smaller. And then the lastly, another place I like to go to is um, the comedy, the place where they do the comedy nights, the comedy club, and it was really small again, and it caused for not many people being able to get in, long lines for the next person to get in. So then again, you're in these narrow hallways, tons of people coming out, and other people trying to squeeze in. I just felt I understand they were trying to maximize space to get more rooms and that kind of thing, but I just felt like the overall experience on these bigger ships was diminished a little bit because of these changes.
So how many carnivals have you been on?
8 total.
Okay, so you could probably answer this. Now, we have done 2 carnivals, and I won't tell you how many years ago, but let's just say it was over 30 years ago. And the ships, I think, are probably 2 of the ones that were scrapped now. We loved them, but we were single, and it was like a party ship. I mean, they call it the fun ship, but I've heard it's come to the point now where you can enjoy it as a couple or as a family. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah. You know what, John? The first ship I went on was the Carnival Elation. That was back in 1999, and I was single at the time, and it was fun. You know, it was a great party ship. We had a good time. I'm looking forward to it, TJ. You're hyping it up. I can't wait.
He's been hyping that up big time this week. It
Uh,
better be worth watching, right?
that's good. He's a good hype man. I like it.
Finish what you're saying.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, so then it's weird because that was 1999. The next time I ever went on a cruise ship, and I have no reason, I have no idea why I didn't go again because I really enjoyed it. Was in 2011. We went on the Carnival Splendor to the Mexican Riviera, and at that time I was married, had 2 kids, and I felt like we had a great time. There was no reason why I decided, or thought, oh, I don't like it, I didn't like it, and we've done multiple cruises on Carnival since then, and I felt like my wife and I have a great time. The kids go to they call it the Camp Ocean. So the kids go to those and they make friends and they do their thing. And we really feel like it's an opportunity for us to have adult time and then also family time. So we'll get together to eat or do stuff or go out on excursions or go to port. But during other times, they can go and do their thing while my wife and I can go and have fun as adults.
That is going to be probably the biggest thing for families. You're right, though, is being able to have that separation. Because if you were trying to entertain your kids on a cruise ship and still enjoy yourself, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care I don't care who you are. If you say that you want to be with your kids, 24/7, well, there may be people out there, but there's times where you just need that adult break, like to go to, a comedy show, those type of things. So
Right.
we don't live near my in-laws or my parents are in San Diego, hers are in Chicago. So we don't really get that break to go do that while we're at home. So to us, going on that cruise ship and getting that little bit of a break to go out and have fun is nice.
Yeah, sounds great. And like I said, we've been looking at carnivals for 2021 cruises. We'll have to try and get on one of those again. Well, Hani, I don't want to keep you any longer. You've given me a lot of your time here.
No problem.
Any other things you want to throw out before I send you back to your whatever you were doing?
Yeah, no, I got to get back to work, but I just wanted to jump on and just say hello because usually we're always talking to each other in passing, so to speak, or in the chat. So I thought, hey, it's a good opportunity to kind of talk face to face. So thank you for having me on.
No, this was great and a great interview. I learned a lot of things about you. So thank you very much for coming up, and we'll talk to you many times in the future.
Absolutely, John. Take care. Have a great rest
Have
of
a
your
good
day.
day.
Thanks.
Have a good day. Okay, well, this test turned into a much longer show. We've been on for an hour and 40 minutes. I appreciate both Tyler and Hani for coming up. They're great interviews, very interesting and fun to talk to. So just to reiterate, we are going on 2 o'clock live. Nancy will be back for our chat, our afternoon chat, to make up for the one we missed on Wednesday. That will be our one with news and then a little bit of Halloween tidbits. And our costume should be back from the laundry by then. And then we're going to follow that on Sunday with our normal every other Sunday live with our game that we play. And also, we are going to show a video on Yankee Candle that we just filmed a couple of weeks ago, which should be fun to look in time for Christmas shopping. So, and that's at 5 o'clock on Sunday. So join us 2 p.m. on Saturday and 5 p.m. on Sunday. Thank you very much, Sherry. Thank you for joining us on T&K. I don't know if, let's see, let me just acknowledge in the kitchen with Lynn. I wasn't able to acknowledge you back then. Healthy Living with Ms. Renee the Baba. And I think I got before that. So thank you very much. Please join us for our next live. Have a good night, everyone.